Hello everyone, Antonio back again. Well, today I'm not doing a video for my boat. Boat actually needed a new freshwater washdown pump. For you guys that aren't into boat, it just needed a new pump. So getting that taken care of. So I figured today I wanted to do a video, and it may actually open up another series of videos I'll start doing. So as you guys know, especially if you've been following me, I do quite a bit, or I started a new series and have done quite, I think 4 or 5 videos for my boat. Just pretty much showing you guys what it's like to live down here in Siesta Key in Sarasota from a boat perspective. And I've actually gotten asked in the past, where should I go? Where do you recommend? Where do you locals typically go to? So I figured I'd take that time today and show you guys one spot that's very dear to me. Today we are starting here at Phillippi Estate Park, the big mansion that you probably maybe have or haven't seen. A lot of times you'll see it in magazines, or you'll see it online or whatever, and that's the mansion right there. So today we are going to talk about a little bit of history of Phillippi Park, what you can do. If you're traveling, you're visiting Siesta Key area, maybe you're a local here, you didn't even really know about this park. I think this will be a great video to give you guys a good idea on what you can do here. As you walk the whole park, you're going to see some signs like this. It kind of tells you of dating as far as Florida is concerned, what they have found here in Phillippi. It's really crazy to see. Just look at that. 12,000 years ago, the shore was pretty much up to here. So it's crazy how much it's receded. And actually, if you guys that know the Gulf, that's kind of where it drops off. So it's just mind blowing to think that land to be, that far out compared to where it is now. And I mean, honestly, I'd hate to see what it's going to be in another 12,000 years. If it's receded that much, it might, who knows, be gone completely. So these are out here, kind of talks about how they've dated stuff, the fossils they found. One that I learned a lot, and I'll take you to it, it's a little bit down here more. Before we do get down there, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So around Phillippi Estates, there's a set of trails. It kind of does a big circle, so you could follow it, eventually make your way back to the parking lot. There's a total of 2 parking lots. There's this one here in front of the mansion, the home, the Phillippi Estate Park. And there's another parking spot all the way to the back near the kids' playground / picnic area. There's a total of 3 piers. These piers you can totally fish out of. I've fished out of them. Not just fish, you can relax there. There's benches. Really, really nice. There's one of them that's behind me. That one I'm not going to show you. It's not very nice. It's, it's totally fishable. It's just video wise. And me personally, honestly, I never go to it. It's just, not that nice. So the 2 I'm going to be going to are very nice. And I'm actually going to show you guys a little secret spot. So when I am down here, my girls and I, what we'll typically do, it's kind of hidden. If you're not looking for it, you probably won't see it. And it's this bench here. It's right just to the, depending on how you're looking at it, but just to the right of the property. And this is just so peaceful. You're right in front of the Phillippi Marina, a few condos in front of you, but it's just very, very, very peaceful. So what I'll do, like I'm doing now, I'll take time, sit here. Generally, I'll look at the ripples in the rock right here, right under us, and I'll just have some alone time and think. Right now, the tide is pushed back some. Generally, the water, well, you could actually see where the water comes up to, where it's still wet. I wouldn't be surprised if you do some digging around here and you find some fossils. I actually have people I know that work in construction that do development, and they tell me all the time when they are excavating, they're always finding things. It's just mind-blowing. So here where Phillippi Estate Park is known for is obviously the estate, the mansion, the home, and this is it right in front of us. A lot of stuff is done here. There's weddings that are done here. There's parties that are done here. If you come here on a Saturday, actually not a Sunday, I've only seen them on Saturdays. On Saturday, you'll see weddings, you'll see parties. They kind of close off this whole area. It's really nice. Right in front of the home is the really nice pier. So this is the nicest pier out of all of them. Has a nice bench, has trash cans. You'll see here. The view is absolutely amazing. And we'll get to see somebody fishing as well. So the marina is right there. That's the Phillippi Marina. This is Phillippi Creek right here. It's the mouth where it starts, Phillippi Creek. On the left side, it connects to the ICW, which is the intercoastal waterway. And for kayaking, they actually have a kayak launch here. Look at that. What the heck is that? I could have sworn that was no, it's not a snake. Holy moly. I thought that was a snake. But anyways, you got to see there's mullet, needlefish right there. So that's a needlefish. The two big ones we saw, those are mullet. Where I was going with it, there's actually a kayak launch on the other pier we're gonna be looking at. But you can totally kayak in here. It's tons of stuff to do. You can actually see somebody kayaking out there. Current doesn't rip too heavy in here, so if you do want to kayak or paddleboard, it's a great place to do so. And of course, if you're into fishing at all, great place to fish. You won't catch anything crazy here. Probably the craziest thing you'll catch, probably snook red. Generally, those actually patrol the shoreline. I've actually caught a decent sized snook here. Another hot spot is this little garden right here. My girls actually love coming and giving her a hug. You can sit on a few benches. Typically, the garden looks a lot prettier than this. We're entering December, so stuff doesn't look the nicest, but generally speaking, it looks really nice. As we make our way to the front of the property, you can see it's a really nice property. You can see here the history behind it. So Miss Mabel sold the property in 1915 for $7,000 to Edison Keith. It's a pretty nice write-up about it. You can see in 1986 is when Sarasota County acquired. I mean, I'd like to research how they acquired the property. But anyways, they acquired the property and it's obviously registered as a historic place. So a really neat area, a lot of history behind it. Even this whole time I thought it was only about the property itself, the estate. I thought that's where all the history was. Then I came down and I visited and I saw that a lot of the history is also just within this area. You know, Phillippi is a great example. And everything that's happened, you know, what they found as far as tools from natives and so on. As you walk these trails, you're gonna see the signs like I showed you earlier that kind of talked about the land and how they date stuff and so on. This one's by far my favorite one. I've been coming to Phillippi State Park for a couple years and I actually didn't know what I learned here. So I originally thought that Phillippi State Park, the mansion must have belonged to somebody that was Phillippi, right? Completely wrong. I was corrected. So Phillippi, in summary, this is going to go in a lot more details, but around the 1700-ish, there was a Cuban, I'm sure it wasn't just one person, but his name was Felipe Bermudez. He also, for whatever reason, went by Phillippi. So he would actually come all the way from Havana, Cuba, in a sailboat to here, to this location. I wouldn't say this exact location, but this area here, which is crazy to think, you know, somebody from the 1700s was coming here specifically to fish. He would come here to fish. Not just him, he had, I'm guessing, a group or whatever of people. They'd come, they'd get fish, and then they would take the fish back to Cuba. You'd think Cuba, being the Caribbean, has amazing fish. I probably would do the opposite, right? But for whatever reason, they would come here. There was tons of fish. He actually had a ranch here. And like I said, I didn't learn that until probably about a week ago. I thought the whole time that big mansion you saw there was somebody by the name of Phillippi, right? So it's crazy to think not only this park, but the whole creek has been named after a Cuban that would come here from Havana, Cuba to fish. So here it kind of shows about how the natives used to live, the proof they've had, what they've found, and so on. Different locations of Florida that they've seen, and you know, proof of stuff that shows that people indeed did live here. I mean, you'd think, right? Water, fish. If I was a person back in the day, of course I'd be attracted to a shoreline because it would, I wouldn't say guarantee, but you have a very high chance of finding some sort food, whether crabs, oysters, fish, I mean, you name it. So I'm not surprised that, who knows how far up this whole creek, people settled here, they lived here, they called it home and did tons of fishing. As we make our way down here, very briefly to the left of me, kind of like a covered picnic area. I actually saw them holding a party at that one over the weekend. They have more tables here, open seating here if you want to sit on the grass or whatever. And then they do have, which we'll pass through here in a little bit, they do have a playground for kids. So the last pier that they have / ramp is right here. And if you look behind this tree here, canoe launch non-motorized vessel. So if you remember, I told you you can actually launch a canoe from here, and this is where you would launch it from. So it's a nice area, super easy to launch. You can head out. And right now it is low tide. So if you look right now, it's really not even that low. It's going to get significantly lower. That whole area there is going to be exposed fully out of water within probably the next hour and a half or so. Tons of fish around here. I could see, yeah, those are mullet, needlefish, tons of smaller fish, a lot of crabs. You'll see a lot of mangrove tree crabs, fiddler crabs on the bottom. If you're just wanting to come out, bring the kids and just have them learn about nature, it's a great spot. Also, this one's good for fishing. I personally haven't fished this one. I'm sure right in this area that's tucked in, there's probably good fishing there. I typically only go to the other one. Of course, when I come here, I'm not trying to catch anything crazy. It's really just to kill time and ease the mind, right? The last part I'm going to show you guys, we'll head over, and it's going to be a really, really nice trail. It's more of a preserve trail. It really isn't maintained other than the path you can walk. It kind of gives you a glimpse of what old Florida really was like. Not only that, but I wouldn't be surprised if most of this park looked exactly like we're going to be walking into right now. So to the right, we have the kids' playground. You have that covered area there if you want to barbecue or just have a party. It's first come, first serve. It's not like you can reserve it. But that old preserve style of Florida, and I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this whole estate here looked just like this. So I'm not going to go all the way through it, just because it's not a crazy long walk, but I don't want to bore you guys. But it pretty much does a whole U and comes back here. You can get a glimpse of how it is. Really, really peaceful. There's a few people walking on it, so I don't want to disturb them. But certainly, if you're looking for a walking trail, something to do, some exercise, this park can totally deliver. Also, a great park to learn about history, spend time with kids, have them do some adventures, look for crabs, fishing. I mean, this park, honestly, you could have a party here, a barbecue, have fishing, have playground, riding bikes, riding scooters. Tons to do in this park. So if you guys are visiting, or maybe you live here in the area and you've never really had time to check it out, I really recommend it. So I'm going to end the video here in this section. So this is the last parking spot, not the last, but the second parking spot we spoke about that I told you in the beginning. There's 2 parking spots. One was in the front and one is here. So guys, really hope everyone enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. This one was a little bit more what am I going to call it? More of like a freelance video. I don't know if you notice, it's me just kind of running and gunning. Not sure if you liked it, so I'd love to hear if you guys like them like this, or if you like kind of more information. Some of my videos I do are more informative, some are more like casual. This was certainly more of a casual one. I'd love to hear what you guys think. So I plan to do more of these, not just here. I plan to do them restaurants in Siesta Key. We'll actually go inside restaurants, we'll eat, and I'll kind of give you guys my take on what I thought about the food, bait shops, stores, so on and so forth around Siesta Key. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys very much for watching, as always. Till next time.